And now, here's the breakdown with Justin Hunte.
What's up, Just?
Jude, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm all right. We had a tough weekend, huh?
It's a tragic situation. Not only for hip hop, not for music, not for LA, for the world. Sincerely.
Yeah, it was nuts. For those of you that don't know, Nipsey Hussle was murdered out front of his own store.
In front of the Marathon clothing. The Marathon is his brand. It's also, in my view, it's a testament to the community. You know, it's his legacy, and he was outside in front of his store. Reports say that he got into an argument with someone who was known in the community, known within the Crip set. Nipsey Hussle was a Crip, and there was a disagreement. The guy left, came back, shot Nipsey Hussle, murdered him in front of his store. 3 people were shot. Nipsey was pronounced dead on his way to the hospital. The camera footage was released. It looked like the guy shot him, left, kicked him in the head, left.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when I saw it too. It was he wanted to kill him. You know, what I mean? It was clear. It seemed very clear from the footage. It's not like I spray a little bit and run away. No, when you walk up on somebody laying down, bust at them while they're down, kick them in the fucking head. Yeah. He meant to do that.
The suspect's name is Eric Holder. He was essentially on the run for 2 days. Yesterday, he was apprehended by authorities after trying to check himself into a mental health facility in Bellflower.
So, do you think he's gonna try to say he was crazy during the time? Is that?
If I'm him, I think he probably will want to. And early descriptions of him that just came out of the community, people were there, people who knew him and Nipsey, said that he was a bit on the spectrum. He wasn't necessarily all there all the time. So I think that's probably what will happen. I think the attention now shifts, now that he's in custody, the attention shifts to what charges he will face ultimately. And then whatever his defense will be.
It looks like murder one, bro.
Sure. Yeah,
you walk up, it's one thing, in an argument I start spraying cats and da-da-da, but he was very, when you walk away and then come back twice.
Yeah. It's this is one of the last things that you expect to happen to someone who has meant so much to that community, but community in general. As Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah,
he's in front of his own store in his own neighborhood where he came up selling socks. Built legacy of family education, financial literacy.
Yeah.
In this neighborhood that spread around the world. People know more about Nipsey Hussle than they know about Nipsey Hussle's music. He's not someone that I think most people can name their favorite Nipsey song. That's how big his impact is.
Yeah. It's what I always liked about Nipsey was his creative way of marketing himself. Was it the $10,000 records? Did he do
He did the Crenshaw mixtape. He sold $100. Mixtapes were sold for $100 each.
Yeah.
And he only had 1,000 copies. I was there that night outside of Youth Boutique
I just love that. That's really thinking outside of the box. It's really thinking. It takes a creative, intelligent person to come up with that as a plan. And I didn't listen to a bunch of Nipsey's music, but I did get to meet him and interview him, and just stand up dude. He was just a stand up cat. He was really he was bright, and it seemed like he was trying to look out for his area,
Super solid. Looks you in the eye when he talks. Quiet confidence. he's one of those guys where you would have at every point in his life, especially in his public life. I was fortunate enough to call him a friend, and people older than him with more experience looked up to him. He carried himself with wisdom, with perspective. He was a light and a beacon. I'm not one of these people who says, oh, the hood is all nothing but plight. There's plenty of beauty. There's plenty of positivity. There's plenty of positive people. Very few ever in life have that type of impact, that type of connection with people that they're not even that close with. Nipsey will ask you about your family, and if he hadn't seen you in a year, you know, he's so much more than. I say this with no hyperbole, right? And there's a few different reactions that we have here for different people. This is like RFK being assassinated. This is like MLK. This is like Pac. This is different than Biggie, right? This is someone who made an impact with people through his energy, his words, his messages that wasn't necessarily tied to a product, just things he was doing to make other people's lives better.
Yeah, is it true that he was supposed to be going to like meeting with the cops to help out with like a gang reach out program?
Reportedly, and you know the thing that is so crazy about this is that there's been so many different stories and narratives that have just been spilling everywhere since this took place on Sunday. One of them was that he had a planned meeting with the LAPD, and they were supposed to talk about progress in the community to some degree. I'm not sure. I don't know whether that's been officially corroborated or not. I wouldn't put it past him, you know. And I think it's something he cared about. There was another story that there was heightened security at a video shoot recently that took place in a parking garage in LA. This is for a DJ Khaled song. It'll be on DJ Khaled's album. So there's stories out there that talk about, you know, there was a little pressure around Nipsey. I'm not sure that's 100% been corroborated. I know people are reporting on that. TMZ reported today that one of the big questions is why was Nipsey outside of his store, broad daylight, no security anyway, if that's how things have been recently. TMZ reported today that he went to the store, his store, on his block, because a friend of his got out of jail after being in jail for 20 years and needed some fresh clothes before he went home, which is a very Nipsey thing to do.
Who else was hit?
There's two other people. I'm not sure their names have officially been released, but they survived. And if they have been, then maybe John, you can double check to make sure if we can have those other guys' names out there. I don't have them in front of us. There was a memorial service the following night that took place outside of the Marathon store. We have a video up here. I'm not sure if there's sound. I'm not sure on this necessary clip.
Yeah, what happened with the memorial service?
So there was thousands of people in the mini mall where Nipsey's store is, and reports were that shots went off and people got stabbed. The next day during a press conference with the LAPD and the mayor, the mayor speaking on this is the impact Nipsey Hussle has. Someone apparently had a gun, showed a gun, and people got scared.
Okay.
Then ran away. And because there's candles, it's a vigil. People fell on candles and people tripped and got cut by glass. Like there wasn't any stabbings. It was someone was running from a gun. There's been so much misinformation around everything around this because people are grieving. Like, people are literally just trying to figure out.
And it's literally the game of telephone. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I heard this, I heard that, I heard this, I heard that. By the time it gets to me, I'm like, I heard he's supposed to meet with the cops to help gang outreach. You know what I mean? Like,
the first, I'm definitely someone who believes just because it's a conspiracy doesn't necessarily mean it's a theory, right? I say that hierarchically. Right, from a macro standpoint. The first thing people were saying about this after this happened was that this was retaliation for him making a documentary on Dr. Sebi, who was a holistic healer who reportedly was able to cure AIDS and cancer in all these people who was murdered in 2016. There was a trial in 1985, and he actually got off because he proved it, but no one wanted to talk about it. So he's making this documentary. So people believed initially that this was a product connected to that. I mean, that's how much this doesn't make sense, Jude. Everybody is literally trying to come up with reasons why something like this will happen to a person this solid in front of his store on his block where he's a pillar of the community. The 60s is one of the most important blocks in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is one of the most important blocks in the country. The country is one of the most important countries in the world. This is one of the most important places on the planet. This is so outside the box. People are in pain.
Well, you were his friend. How are you doing?
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was definitely tough. This is the first time I've ever cried over the passing of a public figure.
Yeah.
You know, there are echoes to Pac. There's a lot of Pac comparisons coming up, you know, coming out around this. And I think part of it has to do with, one of the things about Pac was that, you know, all those guys, everybody back in the day, all of our entry points was the music. So we were all, I think we knew more music, more songs from the people who were celebrities or people on the radio then because we just had the same filters. But Pac stood out because we saw him on the news. We saw his interviews. We saw him spitting at cameras. We saw him in movies and films and all these other things. And I think a lot of that shifted to where, generally speaking, we see more of everybody and hear less of their music and their product that they're actually selling. The power of Nipsey Hussle came through in not only his music, but through his interviews. Like, there's an interview with him in 2006 talking about, we need to all invest in real estate. There's no time to have gang-on-gang violence. We're dividing and conquer. We can't do that. Like, he's talking to grown men.
Yeah.
Tiny Loke with a tiny Jerry curl.
Yeah, he definitely had a vision. He saw things in a much he had a further vision than a lot of people. A lot of people can't see past this next hour or next day, and he had a vision. You could just tell by the way he approached the game.
Yeah.
Something else that hasn't been brought up between the two of us was really Los Angeles wasn't doing much in music. They really weren't making a lot of noise. It was a lot of shit was coming out of Atlanta. You had some shit coming out of like St. Louis and some Midwest shit and
random places.
New York, yeah, random places. But LA really wasn't doing shit for a long time. And Nipsey was that guy that was like bringing LA back. And I don't think he really gets the credit for it that he deserves, but he was that guy that helped pave the way for these 20 other MCs that are out now that are on the cover of magazines and getting accolades. Could they have got that without Nipsey? Yes, possibly they could have. But the fact is Nipsey did shine a light back towards Los Angeles. Like, nah, we doing some shit out here, man.
Yeah, and he stayed down. Like, he wasn't trying to get love and accolades from other places. He was focused on L.A. Like, a lot of people, when they get their first check or they get their first advance or they get their first investment, they can't wait to go other places and help spread their gospel on the road. Not saying Nipsey didn't do that. He was focused on home, which I think is a little bit different than the way artists were being marketed and promoted at that time. We're talking about the mid to late 2000s.
It did seem, that's having strong enemies is a blessing.
That was his last tweet.
Yes.
And
what do you think? Do you think that is tied to the murder?
In my mind, it doesn't make sense for it to be tied to what this altercation is being described as between Nipsey and Eric Holder. The guy's name is Shitty Cuz, by the way. That's what they called him, Shitty Cuz, reportedly. The guy's name's Shitty. Can't make this stuff up. But I can't see that guy being a strong enemy, right? He's reportedly he is a known snitch in the area who was mentally ill on the spectrum, allegedly. I'm not sure that is the type of tweet you direct at someone like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe
These are the things that sparked all these conspiracies around.
But like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they weaponized the dude. Maybe they fucking.
You know, there's so much conjecture. I just hate, and I hope that throughout all these conversations we don't lose sight of the fact that this is a person. You know what I mean? Like this. There was a candlelight vigil in New York City. We have a clip of it. I'll play it a little bit later or whenever. But this is a national story. When's the last time an artist passed away? Like, love and respect, no disrespect to Prodigy. People probably can quote more Mobb Deep songs than they can Nipsey songs. This is a national story. People all over the country are reeling and felt this in different ways. I don't know if the conspiracy stuff, connects.
To be fair, Prodigy didn't die wasn't murdered. So
either way,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, no disrespect. What
about the I don't even want to start comparing what dead guy got more fucking hype than the next dead guy. I don't want to go down that road, but
right. But this is the thing, right? I mean, this is someone who connected past, quote unquote, his product, and that's. I don't know if that could be defined in what bigger hand was behind this tragedy. I mean, like hypothetically, you have these conversations about anything, but this is.
Let's go to the phone line.
This is different.
Josh in South Carolina. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, yeah, Jude. Real quick, I just wanted to say, first of all, rest in peace to Nip, because, the dude was amazing, honestly. As a great human being, a great man, a great rapper. And what I was saying earlier was that I feel like there's a lot of people who probably didn't know him that well, and they're kind of like, giving condolences, and those people are getting flack online. And my personal take on the whole thing is that, let people just give condolences, Everybody does that to people they don't know. If you find out that your your bag clerk died, you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Doesn't mean you're a fake person because you never talked to him, So I just think that a lot of people should take that in mind whenever they want to, oh, you didn't know him, you never listened to him. Well, yeah, okay. But it's an innocent black man that got, well, not innocent, but, he got murdered. You're sad about it. So
yeah, I think people are allowed to mourn. Unfortunately, a lot of times people do post, they post tragedies for likes. But I got too much shit. I got too much time on my hand, or too much shit on my plate for me to be looking through Instagram and yelling at people. Even right. I got it because I posted a picture of Nipsey and myself after the interview, and because we played the interview, because we wanted to honor him. And
wait, you called flack really for posting?
Oh yeah. Really? You never bang Nipsey. It's true, I don't. The only rap shit I listen to is out of Detroit for the most part. But that doesn't mean that I didn't respect him as a man. It doesn't mean that when he came and sat in the chair you're sitting in, that we didn't have a fucking good conversation. And I got to learn even more about him, and my respect for him grew even larger. I already respected him. Selling art is hard. It is a hard thing to do, and he's been doing it for a long time, and he's been doing it fucking on his own. So I already had that respect for him, and it was just for me. It was like I felt grateful to be able to sit there and chop it up with him, and
I didn't realize people were out there catching flack for even posting about it.
It's got and I don't even want to go down that road because it's like I don't like. It's just people are so what do you know about him? What do you know about this? Right. Well, I talked to him. You didn't, so more than you, bitch. Like, get the fuck off my goddamn timeline. We trying to do a rest in peace for somebody. Right. I didn't even answer none of these cats, but it was just like, all right, man, whatever.
Yeah, the one I did see was, the cat posted on Instagram. Young Scooter posted on Instagram. He was like, we need more cats like Nipsey Hussle. Legends never die. It's too much greed and cats hating on their own people. Just wait your turn, play your position. And the Future came in after that and said, yeah, we do need more people like us. I've been teaching and preaching for a decade, also showing and proving what hard work and dedication get you. And then someone responded right after that at Future, hell no, you haven't. Cut the crap. All you taught us how to do was be a fly depressed drug addict. Fuck out of here. I mean, the idea that
there's something to be said for fly depressed drug addict.
I mean, it's
being one myself.
It's I think all this is, largely part of the grieving process,
Let's go to Rick in Denver. Rick.
Yeah, I definitely think the elites is messing up, y'all, because this reminds me of Michael Jordan's dad in the shooting when those two guys were supposedly toting his cell phone after the murder. So when I saw the video of the guy that shot him currently, so when they shot Nipsey and he's bragging about it, saying, yo, I shot Nipsey, right in front of his daughter. Now this is where the elites is messing up, and this is definitely conspiracy related because someone that was talking about Dr. Sebi or Sebi, however you pronounce his name, and his holistic treatments, and then someone who's trying to, revitalize the community, that's where these guys is messing up because they think we stupid and we not. Because anyone that tries to change things for the better, if you look at anyone, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, anyone, John F. Kennedy mentioned these guys right before he was done, and then they get killed. So that's just what happened, and there's no doubt about it. You put the puzzle pieces together, you can figure that out, right?
Let's go to Lynn in Los Angeles. Go ahead, Lynn.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
I just want to say this whole thing, it wasn't because he was about to do a documentary or nothing like that. He didn't want Shitty up there. He asked him to leave. And he told him, you're a snitch, don't nobody want you around here. And he left and came back with a gun. And he didn't have to do that. You took a good man life. I support this man. I used to buy CDs from him when he was selling them out here in Food for Less parking lot. And every time I see him, I go support his business, or I go to Master Burger. I see him outside. He'll wave. He'll give you a hug. Hello. He was just friendly like that. And his bodyguards wasn't there because they had went to go get him something to eat. My cousin is very close to him, so I know what I'm saying.
And to be quite honest with you, what you're saying sounds a lot more plausible than all of these crazy fucking theories. Like what Lynn just said sounds much more plausible. Like, yo, dog, get the fuck away. We don't fuck with you no more. And dude gets in his feelings and comes back and shoots him. Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate you telling us your side. Hey, today 742-3345. Kevin, Charlotte, go ahead.
Yo, what's going on, Jude? What's going on with y'all today?
Chilling, man.
What's
go ahead.
up?
What up, though, Jude? Yeah, man, I just wanted to, just kind of give my piece. This whole Nipsey thing is ridiculous, totally ridiculous. Though he was, he had a past of being in a gang and whatnot, he showed the afterlife of that gang. You know what I mean? Another example, Tukey. You know what I mean? Though he was imprisoned until his death, he showed that he could change. Now, Nipsey showed a totally different side of that. You know what I mean? He took Tukey's blueprint, no pun intended, to 10 times that level. You know what I mean? Tukey showed that he could change in jail. Nipsey showed that you could change on the street. You know what I mean? He showed people that were in gangs. He showed people that had degrees. He showed people that are still trying that they could still succeed. You know what I mean? Even if they didn't have what they needed, he showed like, yo, you can do something. You know what I mean? Even if you can't do it, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to give you these hustlenomics, these 7 rules, or, you know what I mean? He, you know, just an overall good dude, man. And it's just sad, man. I actually shed tears in my car, man, on my way to work. I passed the church while another interview was going on. I passed a church named Victory, and I broke down, Jude. I broke down, bruh. Straight up broke down, because that just kind of let me know, like, personally, like, yo, keep going, bro. Keep going. There's victory somewhere in your life. You know what I mean? And that was personal for me. So, you know, everybody got touched in some way, form, or fashion by this tragedy. And, you know, I just wanted to send my condolences to his family and, you know, anybody that was associated with him on a positive note. And it was definitely a senseless murder, man. Senseless murder, bro.
You said you're in Charlotte, is that right?
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Say it again?
You said you're in Charlotte, is that right?
Yeah, by way of Detroit, though. That's why I said what up, though, to Jude. But, yeah, that's besides the point. Yeah, appreciate that, y'all.
All right, man. Southside Queens, DJ.
Yo, what's good?
Go ahead, man.
Like, on some real shit, me and my best friend had this talk Sunday all the way through Monday when she got off of work. Niggas acting like bitches and bitches acting like niggas. Just because somebody call you a snitch, you want to get mad? Like, who cares? You a snitch, you a snitch. You got a dip. You don't want you around the store, be out. Like, it's just weird, yo. Like dudes just get mad, emotional over words, trigger points.
Yeah, some of the...
And it's like, my whole thing is...
What's that?
Am I wrong for saying fuck gangbanging, stop the Bloods, Crips, essays, all that shit, and let's just unify and just stop everything and just start building each other up?
I don't think that's wrong to say. It's easier said than done. Quite. As long as there's some money in getting stuff, it's gonna be people fighting over that shit.
I give Killer Mike so much props for that trigger warning show.
Yeah.
Where he showed the Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah.
And how they could make money like those biker gangs.
Yeah.
They could make. These are two of the most powerful brands. Period. Right. You can even keep them and shift them and be more positive through the gangbanging side of it. Even though this isn't a gangbanging story, I feel where he's coming from.
Yeah, I hear Carter in Los Angeles. Carter.
Hey, man, I just wanted to first off, say my condolences and rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, man. It's fucked up, man, that, like, people rise and do so much for a community and still nobody's untouchable. Like, it's a fucked up phenomenon that happens, man. It's like, that jealousy thing, it affects everybody and it gets to everybody. Certain people get to escape it, but most people don't. Like, I was one of those dudes that bit into the conspiracy theories and all of that shit, but after looking at it and everything, it's really just some hood shit. It's some jealousy shit from a bitch-ass nigga, and it's kind of fucked up that that's really the way that the shit went down. That nobody's untouchable, man, and you could do so much for your community and, like, work so hard to build the fucking Marathon store and build so much up for this community, and then they fucking kill you in front of it. It's like, the shit's just crazy, man. It's fucked up. Just rest in peace to Nip. I've been slapping this shit ever since it happened. I've been listening to him since 2008, since my freshman year of high school, so it's just fucked up, man.
Well, thanks for calling. You got any Nipsey Hussle pulled up? When we play a song, come back. 888-742-3345. 888-742-3345 is the number to dial. The company man on everything. Talking about the murder of Nipsey Hussle.
Last time that I checked, that's a great song, man. The Crenshaw album is underrated. I like the Crenshaw album. That's a $100 album. And the thing I like about Nipsey's music in general is that he does make motivation music. Like, you listen to it, you want to eat better. You listen to Nipsey Hussle, you want to be a better friend.
Yeah.
Last time that I checked. First you get the money and respect, and the power and the hoes come next. Put that in order. You can live life by that.
Last time that I checked. Ain't that the truth? Let's go to Meech in Ohio. Go ahead, Meech.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
I was just really calling in, you feel me? We just ain't thinking about what's really going on. Like, Shitty Face got out of jail 2 days before the shooting happened. And then we only see one angle of the camera where he got knocked, you feel me? Like, if any nigga with common sense, I mean, it just makes sense. Like, Shitty Face was working with the Gov on this. Like, you feel me? That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, a nigga call you a snitch. Nipsey didn't call multiple niggas a snitch. That's Crips. Trust me. I got niggas that live in L.A., you feel me? I used to DJ for Cash back in 2015. And when we was on tour, you know, I met a couple of different niggas, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, we thinking, oh, it's just a hate nigga. No, the nigga just was like, shit. The nigga, Nipsey's brother went to jail over a Shitty Face. So the whole reason he went to jail is because Shitty Face snitched on Nipsey's brother. So the police come to you talking about, yeah, we'll pay you to get this activist because he got a strong voice. You know what I'm saying? Why would he not do it? If the numbers is right and he know how Nipsey get around. Think about it. Back in '97, Biggie got killed by LAPD leaving the MTV Awards. He was paid by somebody. They was paid by somebody to do it. Now, what y'all think?
I don't know. I don't have enough information to jump to those conclusions. Might be, you know, maybe. Look,
but why though? Like why? Like, you know, I don't have enough information either, and that's the thing that's so crazy. But why would the police want to kill Nipsey? Like, why? I don't know why the police would want to do that. I think if you kill Nipsey, for example, if you're the police, you're causing unrest.
Yeah, they're like,
you make things less stable.
They're like, you know what? We don't got enough shit to do down here. Let's fucking go do that. Like, I don't think. Look, man, I don't know. I don't know what happened, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know. I saw the fucking video. It wasn't. I didn't enjoy watching it. It was fucked up to see. Talking to him as a fucking, just like as a man, I left that interview with, I already respected him a lot, and I had even more respect for that cat after chopping it up with him. Like, it was really cool.
And you said that was leading up to Victory Lap?
I believe so. I was on a lot of drugs when that shit happened, so.
It's his Grammy-nominated album.
Yeah.
Appropriately titled.
Not bad, man. Not bad for your first album. I remember that during the interview, I was like, that was your first album? You've been doing this for so fucking long. And he was like, yeah, all the other ones are like mixtapes. So I was like, that's fucking cool, dog.
These new rappers and these new labels with these projects, they're all collections of songs. It's crazy. 49 singles, 13 mixtapes. Victory Lap's his first studio release.
Let's go to Tom in Florida. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, man, I just want to say, you know, I've been hearing all this shit about this man, you know, where he came from, about how can you respect him, he was gang banging and all that shit. I just want to make sure motherfuckers know, man, that it ain't always about where you from, man, because sometimes where you grow up at, you know, you got to do certain things. You got to look at where that man was going. Like, that was a positive-ass nigga, man, and I hate that a motherfucker get on social media and say, well, how can you do this because he's gang banging and this and that. All that bullshit is aside. This man was doing positive shit. Like, you got to respect where a man coming from. You got to respect where a man going at. Like, all that negative shit, man, I'm just tired of hearing it, dog. And that shit really got me upset. And I just want to say rest in peace to that man. You know, blessings and condolences to his family and all that good shit, man. And, you know, put some respect on that man's name. Fuck that bullshit, man. That's all I got to say.
One of the realest things I learned when I first moved to LA was talking to people who are from LA, and they would say things like, I don't understand how you can grow up in LA and not be in a gang, right? Like, these are just my friends. It's based off of literally where I live. And not because everyone is gang affiliated, doesn't mean they're necessarily banging.
Right.
It's a different perspective if you're not from here. It's one of the first things I learned when I got here. And it resonates all the time, especially when I was listening to this caller. You know, there's a perception that just because you rep something, it means that you're active in a different kind of way. That wasn't Nipsey, currently.
Yeah, and it's like, on a deeper level, is your whole life defined by things that you did in the past or what you're doing now? I think it all weighs out. You know what I mean?
I mean, and the one thing that's so wild is Nipsey's been doing this for so long that I don't truthfully have any negative gangbanging related, me personally, gangbanging related connotations with him. You know, I've seen altercations on TMZ, but they weren't anything serious. And nothing outside of, I've seen Will Smith smack a camera guy on TMZ. You know, I've seen people do.
Kanye did the same shit.
Right. You know, like outside of that, I don't even have that as part of his brand to me. Now, Suge Knight always has that to me. Nipsey doesn't.
You don't say. Let's go to Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, I just wanted to talk about the special needs aspect or the spectrum aspect. The fact that I'm a coach for special needs, and I've seen it a couple times where people that have special needs will get off on like charges because they have special needs. No prosecutor wants to touch that. So I hope that's not the case. But yeah, I just wanted to talk on that, and then hopefully you can play Blue Laces too.
Because you're saying, my man tried to turn himself into the fucking crazy ward. Therefore, he's already setting up a case for himself to have special needs and get treated nicer. Is that?
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's the shitty part of it that you hope that doesn't happen, but
and that's
usually with special needs, no prosecutor wants to touch that shit.
It's kind of funny, man. This guy sounds brighter than one would think.
I mean, if he made those choices on his own, he leisurely left the scene with the woman driving the car. So, Bellflower's about 20 minutes from Crenshaw and Slauson. Is the caller still on? Is the key still on? Do you?
Yeah, I'm still.
So you think that there's or at least from a history standpoint, these kind of cases tend to lean in favor of the mentally ill?
Usually mental ill, they'll not charge a person as bad. They'll put them in they'll put them in a mental rehab, things like that. But
man, that sounds really calculated, bro. That sounds really calculated. Yeah, well, most people don't think to turn themselves into the crazy ward. They think to turn themselves into the fucking cops. Like that's I haven't thought about that. This is gonna be interesting how this turns out, and that's kind of why I don't want to. Like, I'm only gonna speak on what I fucking know. Like, we don't know. There's so much that we don't know. Did Shitty admit to it, or
as of yesterday, he hasn't gone on record and said anything yet.
So we have to say all of this shit is alleged.
Yeah,
I
mean,
so y'all know everything about Shitty is alleged.
There's a bunch of YouTube videos with people supposedly DMing him. I can't corroborate any of that. I'd rather not.
Right.
Fan, fodder for whatever. But he hasn't gone on record yet. So yeah, I mean that's where it is.
So yeah, he is. It is alleged that he shot Nipsey. Well, Just, man, I hate that we had to have this conversation today. I really do, man.
Me too, man. It's the one thing that I think that can come out of this is that it does, in the worst possible context, it's another opportunity to really let people know you care about them. I made a lot of phone calls to just friends and family after this. I was like, yo, I really appreciate you. I'm thankful you're around because in a speed of a right click, everything could change.
Yeah.
And this wasn't, everything about this seemed really fluky. Let's take Lynn, what the caller said as truth, for example. Security left to go get some food. Let's take this kid be on the spectrum, for example. Maybe he just reacted differently. Maybe there's something personal. Who knows? But maybe it's a car accident for anybody else. I made a lot of phone calls to family and friends after this happened. And I'm thankful for everything Nipsey gave us before he passed away.
Yeah, study his hustle, yo. That's the one thing I really study Nipsey's hustle. I don't gave him shit. He went out and got it. And I really respect that. Rest in peace to Nipsey. And just thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate you, Doc.
The marathon continues.
Let's go.